So how does this work though across the board, right? Because if it's the definition is encroaching on someone else's seat, how about very tall people that aren't fat, tall people, I'm 6 feet, not 5'11", so I'm decently tall, but I'm talking about people that are like 6'5" and above, maybe 7 feet, right? That's
Yeah.
gonna find it quite uncomfortable. Do those people get a free seat as well?
I believe that they should. I believe that if you need more space because your body physically takes up more space, you should be accommodated. And so that, tall people count and people with disabilities count and fat people count. And if you're a tall person and say you needed to like shift in your seat and sit, with your legs almost in the other person's space, then you're going to need a second seat, right? To be comfortable for your body and your physical needs. And I 100% believe that you should be accommodated. This doesn't just, target fat people. This would be helping honestly everybody. And a big thing that I come across in like the comment section of my videos is people saying, well, like it's not fair. And I don't want a fat person like spilling over into my seat. Well, this and the things I'm outlining in the petition would literally change that and would make sure not only the fat person's comfortable, but the person who doesn't want to be sat next to a fat person, because sadly that is the case for a lot of people, is also not uncomfortable. So it's benefiting more than just fat people.
To be honest, like I travel a decent amount for like my job, and if I get to my seat, I'm like a late arrival to get to the plane, and everyone's already seated. And if I see a fat person, I'm kind of like, fuck, shit, like I'm not gonna be that comfortable. So I can see where you're coming from on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is consideration, right? Like you're in a
And do
way.
you feel that when someone gives off that energy?
Oh, 100%. I have definitely like had people sit next to me. I'm like, wow, this person does not want to be next to my ass. And then it's like we're both uncomfortable. Like I don't want to sit next to you, and you don't want to sit next to me. So why are we both having to suffer, right? So
Right.
yeah, I think that I think people forget that this is not just going to benefit fat people. It's going to benefit the people that don't want to be next to fat people and the people that are, I don't want someone next to my seat or spilling into my seat, or sometimes people don't even want to be sat next to a fat person just because societal bias and stigma. And hey, if that's how you feel, then that's how you feel. But I think that we need to like look at it as a whole. And this isn't just like I want more seats for fat people. This is I want everyone to be comfortable. And how much air hostility do you hear about where people are pissed because they don't have enough space and now they're yelling at the flight attendants or they're yelling at the person next to them? Like we could solve the problem. And I think that's where my petition comes in, honestly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But let me challenge you though, right? Because let's say if a lot more people get multiple seats for free or they're reimbursed for it, wouldn't this impact everyone ultimately though? Because those additional costs aren't going to be absorbed by the airline, right? They're going to also have to make money. It's going to be passed on to the passengers. So in that instance, wouldn't that start impacting everyone else because of a select few?
And to that, I argue, right? Southwest Airlines is one of the more budget airlines, right? People know them for being more cost effective than some airlines. And they've been doing this policy. Their customer size policy has been in place for over a decade, right? And no one has seen a financial impact that we can track and measure that has impacted people using the customer size policy with seat prices going up, right? So for that, I would say I think there's an argument to be made there. Also, I think someone like people don't think about the fact that not all people are my size, and not even all fat people are my size. I am on the larger end of the fat spectrum. I'm a super fat woman, so I'm well aware that people aren't my size. The people that need a second seat, as much as there are many of us, it's not going to be all on one plane, right? So you're spreading it out over multiple planes and over multiple trips and things like that. And when you look at it as a whole, there's not going to be this huge demand for second seats. The people who need them and are already getting them in whatever way they are, right? And there are a lot of these airlines that are actually honoring the customer size policy, but they don't say anything publicly. You have to call in and you can get a refund. So I would just say to think about it as we can't really track how this would change, and it doesn't mean it automatically would increase airline tickets and prices and things like that. I think these are things are already happening, and we're not really seeing a tangible change that we can track and monitor. So I think that's something to take into consideration.